Rocky Mountain Sasquatch. We are in the #1 reported Bigfoot sighting hotspot in the Rocky Mountains, beautiful, colorful Colorado, searching for Sasquatch in and around Bigfoot sighting locations. We realize that this creature is not going to sit at the exact spot it was observed and wait for our team to show up for a publicized selfie. And so we search places that make sense in and around the encounter location. We like to head up dirt road draws and canyons with reliable food and water resources and look around for evidence of the creature, hoping to hit the home run and obtain rare, clear, and open footage of this creature. I am going to share one of many Bigfoot sighting reports that bring us to Colorado to search for this rare, elusive creature. Laura writes RMSO. My Squatch sighting around fall of 2011. I was living in Cascade, Colorado and coming home late from work. Driving up the 24 into the mountains. The road twists and turns. As I rounded a turn, there was a large animal walking upright quickly across the road. No, it wasn't a bear, nor a human. Long, lanky arms swinging as if traversing the road, very hairy, then climbed over the road barrier and went down the hill. I was tired from a late shift and was driving slow. I brought my car to an absolute stop in the road just as it turned its head to look at me. Dark face, and all I saw was dark eyes. I think I screamed and made sure my windows were up and the doors were locked. I kept telling myself I did not just see this and punched the accelerator to veer around it. I sped home and made sure I brought the dogs inside and locked all the deadbolts. The next morning, my son asked me why I was up and down all night checking the locks and doors. This is when I told him what I saw last night. He simply replied, "Yeah, Ma, this area is known for Sasquatch activity." RMSO responds, "Hi, Laura. Were you able to estimate its height or width?" Laura responds, "I'm about 5'2" and this Sasquatch looked tall. My dad was 6'4", and this beast was much taller than my dad. If I didn't mention dark fur and the way it grabbed the guardrail before it hopped over, a hand, not a paw. I didn't sleep well and was pretty freaked out when I had to work late and would be absolutely apprehensive about driving up that hill for months. Occasionally, we would hear some weird animal calls late at night and I always just told myself it was a mountain lion. We've had multiple bears come on our property and they're generally black bears, but this was not a bear. If you asked anybody in the mountain community about it, they just quickly changed the subject and would tell you, "Honey, you just saw a bear. That's all you saw." Sorry, this was not a bear. We're Pennsylvanian and had heard the stories all my life growing up. My dad would go deer hunting every winter in the Poconos, Pennsylvania, and reported that something was banging on the cabin and walls while he and other hunters were sleeping. Some of the city folk were scared and Dad just told them it's a bear and go back to sleep. But he knew it was not. I am going to share one of many Bigfoot sighting reports that bring us to Colorado to search for this rare, elusive creature. Kim Shaper writes RMSO. We sold our property on Pine Street in Orchard Mesa, where I had my first visual sighting. Since then, while camping, my husband and I had 2 more incidents of our RV being slapped. One was at Jumbo up on the Grand Mesa. We went twice, but the second time, no incidents. That was in August 2021. The second time we camped there was in late July with no incidences. The other was up in the West Elks in the Gunnison National Forest on BLM land. San Juan Mountains elevation 13,000 feet, very close to the Overland Reservoir. 2 nights in a row we had our RV slapped. But now we have my husband having a visual sighting. He was returning from a funeral in Minnesota for his stepdad. He drove his brother back to Aguilar area by Pueblo and Trinidad, where he lives 27 miles off the grid on a county road. From there, it's a 7 to 8 hour drive to Grand Junction. You can go through Gunnison over the Monarch Pass, or outside of Gunnison take Highway 114 south down to Saguache through the Saguache Canyon. So he was coming back home going north on Highway 114 through Saguache Canyon, which goes by Saguache Creek. It was on a dark curve going about 30 miles per hour with the creek on the right, possibly around mile marker 40. As he slowed down on the curve, the steep canyon was on the right with the creek. The creek from the highway is right there within a few yards. Not far away in the distance, he saw a human form standing upright in the middle of the creek in the water. He said it was covered in dark black hair with its arms hanging down longer than a human's. He said he knew immediately it was not a human or a bear. We see lots of bear when we visit his brother off the grid along the cougar, bighorn sheep, mule deer, elk, antelope, etc. We know what all these animals look like. Ironically and sadly, this happened the very week Kerry Arnold passed. I had called him to leave a message about it, but he was already gone. So I'm letting you know all this in case you want to check the area out. Their area is really not far from the West Elks and the canyon where the Creek River has caves, deep brush, and trees. We drove down again to get another look of the area and saw part of one of the canyon walls covered with bighorn sheep. In the past, we said we'd like to camp there, but I won't. But the deep brush and trees could easily hide all sorts of animals. I just don't know why some of us see these things and others not so much. But it's probably just because we like the outdoors. I used to go alone hiking, but not anymore. It has ruined me in that regard. I take my .38 special when we camp just in case. As I told Kerry once, he said any kind of protection is better than none. I leave it in the RV, which probably defeats the purpose. Well, for what it's worth, take care and be safe. RMSO responds, "Hi Kim, I was very sad when I learned of Kerry's passing. He seemed to be in great health and in a great place in life. He had a lot of good years left in him. Thank you for sending us this Bigfoot sighting report. We just got back from Colorado. We were investigating several Bigfoot sightings from Nucla, Natarita, Ames, Rico, and into Dolores, pretty much the San Juan mountain range. Wow. Gunnison to Saguache. We will have to check out that area and make sure that we get into that part of Colorado. Was he able to get a height or width estimate of the dark creature standing in the river?" Kim continues, "He said he thought it was not very tall, not compared to the one I saw that was standing over our shed. The shed was 8 feet tall and it was a good foot taller. He thinks this one was 6 to 7 feet tall." RMSO responds, "Thank you for the details. Amazing how many sightings where folks see it standing in or near the river. Imagine how many people drive by thinking that's weird. That guy was dressed head to toe in brown or black. Unfortunately for the species, that they have to expose themselves in order to obtain food and water at times like this. I often wondered if they become accustomed to road traffic as most animals do. Deer, elk, bear, in some places you can drive right up to them as long as they are next to the road, but as soon as they see you get out of the car, they split. Hope you enjoyed a window into what may be a Sasquatch habitat, a place they travel and possibly live while listening to this Bigfoot sighting report. Make sure you subscribe and click that bell to get the 2 to 3 videos a week that we put out of investigations, expeditions, and reports into Bigfoot sighting hotspots. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.